What's going on, Sports Wars? This is Ryan with our Outpost and geeksandgamers.com, and we have some new information about this Astros cheating scandal. Specifically, we found out more about the front office's role, which is much more extensive than anyone initially thought. And we will get to that second. But first, I really wanted to talk about AJ Hinch, who's the manager for the Houston Astros, who, by all accounts, was not on board with this cheating scandal. He didn't like it, but he didn't do enough to actually put a stop to it. He let it happen under his watch. He came out, sat down with Tom Verducci, did a very long interview, had to be very uncomfortable, talking about how him and his team cheated. Now, if you're not aware, we do have a couple videos on the channel. I'll link a couple in the description so you can see what exactly the Astros were doing. But bottom line is they were using cameras and equipment to steal signs and get it relayed to the player by banging trash cans. And some have theorized that they may have used buzzers as well. That's not really been proven. It's still under investigation. But AJ Hinch said some words. I want you guys to hear him talk about if he thinks the Houston Astros championship is tainted or not. And I thought it was a very honest response from him. So let's listen to a little bit of this right here.
The Astros won the World Series in 2017. Based on what we know now, what we know from the commissioner's investigation, is that championship tainted?
It's a fair question, and I think everyone's going to have to draw their own conclusion. I hope over time and the demonstration with the talents of this team, the players, the careers that are being had. We have some of the best players in the entire sport all together on the same team. I hope over.
Now, of course, when you look at these players' statistics in the 2017 playoffs, some of them had huge gaps. Over 200 points in batting average when you look at Jose Altuve, when you look at Carlos Beltran, when you look at Carlos Correa. All of them had huge splits when you look at their performance at home and on the road. Sure, do people like playing at home? Of course they do. Not that much. And a lot of people are speculating it has very much to do with this cheating scandal, the fact that they knew exactly what pitches were coming.
Over time, it's proven that it wasn't, but I understand the question. It's a fair question, and people are going to have to draw their own conclusions. Unfortunately, we opened that door as a group, and that question I may never be answered. We may never know, and we're going to have to live and move forward and be better in the sport.
Yeah, so that's basically what he said. He basically said everyone has to decide for themselves. And I think it was relatively honest. He obviously went back to, well, we're really talented, though. I mean, we could have won these anyway kind of thing. But, you know, AJ Hinch is a guy who got fired for the Houston Astros for a player-led and assistant coach-led cheating scandal, which was assisted by the front office. A couple things that I will point out. Here, the report released in January identified the scheme as primarily player-driven with help from bench coach Alex Cora, who went on to become the GM or the manager for the Boston Red Sox and was subsequently fired. But it also indicated Hinch was at fault for his failure to do anything to stop it. And here's what Hinch said. I wish I would have done more. I really do. I think that's a big question that I'm really going to process over what is now a season-long suspension. It's something I continue to think about, certainly through the investigation, when you have to openly talk about it. I wish I would have done more. Right is right and wrong is wrong, and we were wrong. Now, AJ Hinch is doing the only thing that he can do to get back in the sport as far as I'm concerned. If he just went and denied it, didn't take responsibility, I think that, I think that in the long run, people may not have been interested in having him back. I think that what he's done, the fact that it pretty much cleared him of a lot of stuff, is going to be enough for AJ Hinch to be able to get a job. Maybe not as a manager for a long time, but at least a job back in baseball when his year-long suspension is up. I would highly recommend watching this entire interview. There's some good stuff. There's some honest stuff in it. But another thing we found out. Report, Astros front office laid groundwork for codebreaker sign-stealing program. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Excel-based application called Codebreaker, designed to decode opposing catcher signs, was used throughout the 2017 and 18 season by Astros baseball operation employees, both at home and on the road. Staff would log the catcher signs and subsequent pitchers into a spreadsheet to determine how it was related to different pitches. Then they would relay it to the base runners and the pitchers via the trash can, like we talked about. Astros players eventually evolved the system to include banging on a trash can and warn hitters of the incoming pitch. The GM, Jeff Lanau, who was fired, told MLB investigators he remembers the intern's PowerPoint slide, but he thought it would be used to legally decipher signs from previous games. So everybody from the front office, from the GM on down, knew about this program. He says he didn't know exactly how it would be used, but the entire front office knew about this program. This is insidious how deep this goes. It's not just players, not just a couple people. Everybody knew what was going on. Now, AJ Hinch, he actually damaged some of the monitors that they were using for this at times because he was so frustrated with the cheating, but he never had the balls to actually say stop it. Jeff Luna maybe just didn't know what was going on, but here you can see the former intern Derek Vigo currently works as an Astros senior manager at team operations. He told investigators he assumed Lanau knew the program would be used in live games, and the GM would actually go to the Astros video room during road games and make comments like, "Are you guys code breaking?" Jesus. So whether he's just completely inept or lying, it does not look good for Jeff Lanau, the GM of the Astros, who built a quality team, but how good this team ever really was is always going to be under question. But I just wanted to give you guys an update because that is something I've been following. I love baseball, and what the Astros did will never be forgotten, I don't think. If no players get suspended, I think it's ridiculous. And it's a sign of how strong the MLB Players Union is, the fact that it's way too strong. If no players get punished for leading this cheating scandal that directly affected World Series titles, and it's been proven that it affected those seasons now. I don't know. We have no proof that they actually used it in the World Series. There's no proof of that. However, the rest of the season to get up there, I mean, come on. And you look at their splits in the playoffs, there's no way. Something fishy is up with those home road splits. There has to be. But let me know what you guys think of this, of AJ Hinch coming out and being fairly candid about his time and about his role in the cheating scandal. And what do you think about Jeff Lanau, the fired GM, knowing about this and just acting dumb? Make sure you leave a comment below and smash the like button. Subscribe to Sports Wars. Ring the bell for notifications. We'll talk to you guys later.